Studies show creationists use fallacies all the time, right? Welcome to Critical Thinking Scan, where we look at how you can think about any faith-challenging message and arrive at a biblical, logical conclusion yourself. I'm Patricia Engler, and today let's look at a common claim you might come across, I know I certainly have, which is that Christians, and especially biblical creationists, use all sorts of logical fallacies or faulty reasoning to defend their beliefs. As a student, I encountered so many claims painting creation arguments as fallacious that I penciled this note into the back of my critical thinking textbook. It seems like when someone accuses you of faulty reasoning, you're dead intellectually because they're clearly a logical person. And they probably are. But don't panic. See, when a logical-sounding person accuses Christians of being illogical, that can sound persuasive. But I wrote this note to self not to panic in those times, but rather to investigate the claim and see if it really was a fallacy. And if there was a fallacy, I'd use that key critical thinking hack of asking, is this message true or false? Because, to question, is the Bible false because someone uses a fallacy to argue for it? And when you think about it, you realize, no. It's quite possible to use bad logic to argue for something true. So saying that a message is false because someone is defending it with a fallacy is itself a fallacy called argument from fallacy or ad logicum. Like you can learn from websites like answersingenesis.org, there are plenty of good reasons to accept the Bible as true, including many other logically sound arguments. But the problem with using bad arguments to try defending the Bible is that even though they can't make the Bible less true, they can make those who defend the Bible sound less credible. So as Christians, we want to be vigilant to use sound logic and avoid making fallacious claims. In fact, at answersingenesis.org, you can find a list of articles about bad arguments to avoid, and that page is linked to this video. Meanwhile, to practice responding to claims that Christians use bad logic, and to learn how to avoid using bad logic ourselves, let's start looking at some real-life skeptical claims about common creationist fallacies. I actually typed creationist fallacies into my search engine, expecting to see mostly popular press articles and blog posts. But instead, I found an academic research paper from 2014 published in the Evolution, Education, and Outreach Journal entitled Arguments and Fallacies in Creationist Writings Against the Evolutionary Theory. And these researchers looked for fallacies in texts with high social media visibility from 13 organizations or authors promoting young Earth creation, old Earth creation, or intelligent design. To their credit, the authors also commented on fallacies and some evolutionist responses to these arguments. The researchers identified about 14 fallacies and concluded, our results strengthen the notion that the constant use of fallacies in persuasion can be a factor in the continuing success of creationism despite of scientific counter-evidence. I'd argue that they should have said counter-interpretations because we all have the same evidence, or observational science. Now, we don't have time right today to cover all the fallacies they discussed, but let's start with the most common instance of what they called a fallacy in young Earth creation writings, which they said was an appeal to authority. Remember, that's when you claim a message is true or false based only on the fact that an authority or an expert said so without providing additional support. And the authors point out that it's common for creationists to quote evolutionists remarking on some of the serious problems with evolutionary hypotheses. So the researchers' claim is that creationists are saying, well, evolution is false because these evolutionary experts said so. And if that's really where creationists left it, it would be a fallacy. But from what I've seen, evolutionist quotes don't normally stand alone in solid creationist writings, but supplement a larger discussion of how observational science supports a biblical interpretation rather than an evolutionary one, and how even some evolutionary experts recognize the problems with the evolutionary interpretation. That is quite different from saying evolution is false because an expert said so, and therefore, it's not a fallacy. Other fallacy examples will have to wait for other videos. But meanwhile, for more on how to think critically about any faith-challenging message, you can access my other CT Scan videos packed with tactics, tips, and tools that helped me as a Christian student at secular university. Thank you for watching. Hey, it's Patricia here. Just wanting to let you know that if you like these videos, a free, easy way to help Answers in Genesis Canada create more content and equip more people to defend their faith is to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, click the bell, and of course, share these resources. That lets the social media algorithms help these videos reach more people who can benefit from them, saving us advertising expenses while promoting biblical authority. Thank you so much.